Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the snowy sequesterer herself, Sandy Reevy.
Hi, everybody. I'm in the snow trenches.
This is episode 132, February 1st. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Monday, February 1st, Sun square Mars,
A standoff.
and Venus ingress Aquarius.
Now it's a party.
And Saturday, February 6th, Venus conjunct Saturn,
The beautiful know. Read the book.
and Venus square Uranus.
It's worth budging.
Then in talisman time, Sandy has two upcoming talismans: Tuesday, February 2nd, to develop new technology as a skill, and Friday, February 5th, to benefit greatly from a long term commitment. Then on the horizon, we have our February forecast ready for download, our CWS webinar coming up, as well as our very, very special and incredibly exclusive Spring Equinox Constellation Bracelet and Workshop. Then in our house, Sandy and I are so excited to invite a new member to our team. So tune in for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce. And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, snowy sequesterer.
That sounds
it's
so sexy. Can we add that word in front of?
the sexy snowy sequesterer. Yes.
Yeah, that even
We've
sounds.
never done three. I don't think we've ever done three words
uh,
before.
It's a new month and a new year.
Yes, happy February, everybody. We're so excited.
Birthday to my brother, Doug.
Yes. Shout out to Dougie Doug. And yeah, here in Chicago, we received lots of inches of snow. So that's kind of why we're the snowy sequesterers right now.
It's still coming down. It's so beautiful. I literally asked for this, being the sequesterer, sitting by my fireplace with my hot cup of water. I drink hot water all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, please put on a show out of these windows, please. Like, paint me some white, beautiful canvas, and here it is.
And
I
it's
think
so
we,
beautiful.
I think we got 2 feet.
It's beautiful. I love it. Um, so anyway, I just wanted to go direct to everyone. Say we love you. Thank you so much for listening. I mean, we really can't drive that gratitude deep enough because we love discussing, we love talking about astrology, and we hope that we, make sense majority of the time for you all. And if we do, of course, email me, alex@intentionbeats.com. I'd love to have your feedback. And Sandy.
I I I really love the fact that, let's just say, the last couple, or sometimes when we read a going direct, and of course she's listening or he is listening,
Mhm.
and then they reach out to us again, right?
Right.
It's this really like
Saying, "Oh
beautiful,
my gosh, I heard my shout out. Thank you so much."
yeah, a continuation of just being seen, being heard, being read, and being taken seriously as an important, like, you paused for 5 minutes, 10 minutes to write us something. We think it is so important that we read it on the air. Like, I don't know how many
Right.
people do that, and I'm not saying that we're that cool because we do it, but it just warms my heart to know that, oh my gosh, they
Yeah.
talked about me. They read what I wrote.
Yeah.
Just
And
want to say
it's really exciting for us to receive that
yes.
response and, and to keep this conversation going because the conversation does not stop between, my mom and I, us right here. It doesn't stop here. We're talking on a podcast for people to listen and to get something out of it.
Right.
So we did receive an email from Maureen. She says, "Hi, Alex. I so appreciate all the notes you have sent. I am truly loving all that you and your mom are offering, and I'm so excited to learn more. I just purchased my first talisman, and no surprise that it's going to be arriving at the perfect time for me. Happy New Year, and thank you for all that you do." remember, I'm catching up on all of these feedback that I received right during the holidays and the new year. So shout out to Marine. Thank you so much. And I hope you really enjoy this new talisman because that's, another thing that we do.
Right. And, the activation, that's important. So I know we did that. So just we welcome to the Talisman tribe.
Hmm. So let's move on in and into the transits. Monday, February 1st, Sun square Mars.
Yeah, this happens at 4:34 a.m. This is at 13 degrees of Aquarius where the sun sits, and 13 degrees of Taurus where Mars sits. And it certainly is a standoff. They're both in their detriment. Which means they don't like being in these signs where they're not strong. They're
Okay.
they're weakened here. And so we're talking about two powerful sun that is weak, and Mars that is incredibly powerful that is weak. And so they're both rubbing each other the wrong way. It's like picture like fighting for attention when nobody else in the room cares, or nobody
Yeah.
else in the department cares, or nobody else in the vicinity cares. It's just the two of you, right? Which reminds me of that song of Grover Washington, "Just the Two of Us," which I like to throw on and cue the A girl sitting over the little black box over there, to cue her in for a song, but I won't this time. But here the sun wins because the sun is in a superior overcoming square. So the sun has more power here. So, this will only last for a really one day, light, and on Sunday the 31st, heavier on the 1st, and then starts to wane on the
Hmm.
2nd. So, of course, if you're listening to this the second we have put this out, you're listening to this on Monday. Um, but luckily, we get something else coming in here in a little bit. You want to
Right.
announce?
Another transit on that Monday, aka today, February 1st, Venus ingress Aquarius.
So this now it's a party. She is like she's the one that's all about connections. She's connectivity. Remember, she rules copper. So putting things together that blend, right? So now Venus is joining the group to make five. And because Aquarius, this is the Aquarian party where they're all now waiting for one more member to join, and that's the moon, and the moon doesn't join for until next week. But still, it's Venus joining Aquarius. So it's like, don't we wish there was a party? Because it's time for more social. There's more social, getting together in unusual ways, which is true, to be part of a group, but yet experiencing individuality. Now, she stays here in Aquarius all the way until February 25th. So she's only here, well, most of the month of February, but only for 25 days. Um, so it's like, you know, building a new way to relate,
Hmm.
because that Saturn is co-present with her and saying, hey, come on in, let's have a party, but let's be really, let's plan accordingly to what it is we want to accomplish. I
And to
really
me, that sounds a lot like Venus, about how we can value and have our self-esteem, and Aquarius, how we can be unique and different and not need to fit in with the school of fish flowing around us. So that Venus Aquarius is like, do your own thing, really be outlandish yourself, and don't be worried about what other people are thinking.
in fact, hey, what if you find your like-minded group so that your outrageousness really gets, you know, sparked by your like-minded groups and friends. I find it interesting too that, here in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, our mayor, has set that on Tuesday, which is the day after this Monday, right? Because that's how it goes each day of the month,
Got it, got it.
is opening up from whatever the level 5 of, socialization.
Mhm.
It moved it to level 4. So
Okay.
Like, you can sit at the bar now, Alex. Um,
Whoa.
you don't go to the bar and stand or go to your table. So there's more areas to sit inside a
Hmm,
restaurant and a bar. I find that interesting because it's about, getting together with like-minded people. So, of course, you go to a bar if you want to drink.
right. And that's a like mind right there. So let's move on over to Saturday, February 6th. Venus conjunct Saturn.
Right. So, wow, that whole right? We're Monday and then boom, all the way to Saturday is our next aspect. And this is, yeah, I call it the beautiful no. Because things are getting serious. And that's fine because you're going to get serious on matters that are important to you. Venus. Venus, remember, just moved into Aquarius 5 days ago and now meets up with the ruler of Aquarius, Saturn, at 5 degrees of Aquarius. This happens at 1:07 a.m. So it's this feeling of that's the first conjunction she makes as she arrives to the party. So it's like she gets her rules and regulations, and maybe she gets a stamp on her hand, or a, a tag around her wrist that she's allowed to go to. It's Venus. She wants VIP. Um,
Hmm.
but there's rules to attend to here. Um, so maybe it's a tighten your budget. Maybe it's building new responsibilities in all your relationships. It's like a grown up, mature plan. And certainly when you get a stamp on your hand, because I remember when I was 16, okay, when I had a fake ID, but you would
And
get
you're admitting this to your own daughter.
yeah,
I'm just
because
kidding. I already knew about that.
yeah, I get a stamp on my hand and try and like lick it off before I got home, right? So it was like, you had to, it reminds me of the Venus Saturn where it was like, hey, I want to go to the party, I want to get in, I want to connect with all the people in there and all the fun that's going on.
But I
And
don't want to disrupt my
but no, I had to kind of show some credentials to get in,
uh,
right? So it's kind of like that reality check, because sometimes, they look at
the
it and go,
bouncer bounces you.
"You are not 24 years old. Please go to the back of the line."
Go to the back of the line or not not
Over
go home, just go to the
next
back of the
door
line.
next door at the kitty care center or something.
Ah, yes.
Um,
And
so yeah,
so you called this one the beautiful no. Is that anything to do with our friend Cherry Salada's book?
yes. Well, I keep suggesting that book. I read it. I read some parts of it during our 7-day challenge.
Mhm.
Um, because all no's aren't negative, nor should we look at it as a big door slammed in our face,
Right.
or being cut off from something. We should look at it as the time is not right. This particular thing you want to do is not right for you. The real one that is right hasn't shown up yet. So just call it a beautiful no.
Mhm.
Read the book. Sherry Salata. Love, love, love her.
I
She's a
agree. But what we could also do, what about republishing Sherry Salata's astrological interview for this Saturday where it populates on our podcast and people can listen in?
hey, Alex, that's sure. Do ahead. Go ahead with that. That sounds fab.
Awesome. I'm going to do that.
You know how to do that.
So, and also what I love about the beautiful no is because not only are you giving people permission to say no if it's not the right fit or it's not the right time, you're also giving yourself permission in order to say no to others and not think that you're breaking up the relationship. You're, you know, disrupting their lifestyle or what, because I think a lot of people hold in that responsibility of always saying yes to everyone.
Right. And we can call it, you know what? I'm going to just give you a beautiful, beautiful no. Not at this time. But if
Right.
put the beautiful in there, it's kind of like, plus minus, but at least it's not minus that gets shoved in your face with your big hand
Right,
print.
and I definitely think there's a gracious way of saying no,
Yeah.
where you don't even have to excuse yourself or give excuses. So let's move on. That's Saturday, February 6th, same day, Venus square Uranus. So Venus is busy. Let's hear about this.
Well, because Venus just arrived and, we're moving. And so if you can, don't close your eyes, anybody, if you're driving. But if Venus conjoins Saturn, think about this. Venus is in an area at 5 degrees and conjoins Saturn. Later on that day, literally like 8 hours later, she's moving fast enough to square, that's 90 degrees, Uranus at 6 degrees. So that kind of tells us that as we're talking about the Saturn squaring Uranus as the main aspect of strife, frustration, difficulty, challenge, for the whole year. In
Mhm.
fact, we'll talk about that in a minute because that's our CWS webinar that's on February 10th, is all about the Saturn square Uranus. But Venus comes in first before they square, because they don't square toward the end of the month for the first time, and then they move in a retrograde cycle square one time in the middle of the year and finish up like Christmas Eve of this year. So we can see that that's the biggest thing that we're watching. But here, Venus comes in and squares Uranus, so it's worth budging. Are you feeling like you're getting pushed? Are you needing to ask more clarifying questions around why maybe you're getting pushed? Do you need to ask who might be pushing your buttons? Their inquiries, why are they? They may not even know they are,
Hmm.
right? So, kind of maybe what you could do, Alex, can you imagine this? If somebody is irritating you and you should turn toward that irritating thing,
Okay.
and when by turning toward it, you're not running away. You're ready to take it on full center and looking at it with your full attention, that Uranus can maybe surprise you, right?
Oh, I
It's
I
fun.
agree. And how many of us have had, that like dreading feeling that, oh, I really have to have this discussion. I really have to, you know, finally approach this scenario. And once you do, it's not as bad as you imagined it. So I think that here that's that lesson of, when you can stare something in the eye and be present with yourself, it might surprise you that it goes much easier than you ever imagined possible.
I mean, imagine, the irritation, you turn and that thing, and it doesn't have to be a person, but it could be just a subject,
Hmm.
usually delivered by a person, or a thought or a pattern or a habit. Um, all of a sudden you look at it in the face and you're like, a change up time? And they say yes. And you go, okay, okay.
Right. Right.
Where literally, like you said, it can be like a mature, because earlier in the day, we've got, a grown up, mature plan, right? And so doing a reality check in the morning with that Venus conjunct Saturn, and, 8 hours later is, yeah, you know what? Let's try that. We'll try it your way because these are both in fixed signs. Do not want to budge. But of course, the not the budge releaser is Uranus. So Uranus is like, yeah, I might be in a
It's
fixed,
calling on for change.
yeah, it's
Right.
like, hey, I might be in a fixed sign for 7 years. I'm 2 years in it. So I am plodding through here and I'm going to make change.
Hmm.
So you don't like it, I'm going to make change. Are you digging it? I'm going to make change. Do you like it a little bit better? I'm here to make change. So you agree? Okay, cool. Let's try. Right? Like it's here to make change.
Well, great.
Yeah. So
So, and remember everybody that all of these times that we discuss are actually in Central Time. So, just wanted to give you that quick note. It does mention that in all of our podcast episode notes, but just in case if you're listening in. And in talisman times, you had the week off from talismans. So
Well,
you
I
have,
did a lot of personal intention bracelets that actually grabbed the time for me to do my talisman time for universal. We had the Jupiter consume the sun, and the the time I would have done to make a universal for sale,
mhm,
uh, I used that time for personal intention work.
right.
I didn't
That's awesome.
didn't have talisman time off. It's just nothing to sell.
Right. So then the upcoming talismans that you will have for sale is Tuesday, February 2nd, to develop a new technology as a skill.
Well, and the reason why is because the moon is conjunct Spica. And Spica is the brightest star in the night sky. It is not one of the four Persian stars, but it is the brightest star at 24 degrees of Libra. And so, moon being on the ascendant right at that moment allows the brilliance
Hmm.
come out of the talisman wearer. The talisman wearer in ancient talisman making is called the helmsman. And so this so that yeah, the intention is to develop new technology as a skill. I receive this gift of knowledge so that I can more easily help my fellow humans. My bright idea is a brilliant solution.
Mm. And we need brilliant ideas right now. I think that it's becoming more
We've got all of these planets in Aquarius. This is all about scientific new technology
so cool. Can't wait to hear what that story is going to be like.
because
So,
the moon is moving into a trine, air to air, Libra air to Aquarian air is a trine. It says easy energy.
yeah, easy and thought provoking too.
Yep.
So, Friday, February 5th, you're going to make the talisman to benefit greatly from a long term commitment.
My goal is on perfect track for taking my investment, my commitment easily to my destination. I arrive with and in abundance at the right time. Now, this is a really cool and unusual um, timing. The moon is at the top of the chart, right on the midheaven. That's important, just as Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter are coming up over the horizon. Okay, picture this.
That's
Now,
also going to be beautiful on the horizon.
beautiful. And it's too close to the sun. I mean, we might see Venus because Venus is really certainly moving away from the sun and Venus is actually, um, what here? About 12 degrees away from the sun. So we'll be able to see her before the sun comes up. But this is at like 6 something in the morning, 6:19 a.m. I'll be making this talisman. But picture this. If I said Venus at 4 degrees, Saturn at 5 degrees, and Jupiter at 11 degrees. And there are no other traditional planets of the seven that are in between the 4 of Venus and the 11 of Jupiter, except Saturn in the center.
Hmm.
An ancient technique, a term called besiegement. And it's a beneficial that a planet, and it's the ruler of each of the benefics, is on either side, kind of sandwiched and kind of more in honor. So it's really hard to get because the two benefics don't always run in a pattern that and it can happen in any aspect, but
Hmm.
it's like one hits Saturn on on say to the right side, and the other one hits to the left side with Saturn and with any other planet in between, but it's Saturn the ruler. So I really like this one.
And that besiegement sounds very like triumphant, kind of like you have these two, I don't know, hype squad. I don't know, like your two like teammates behind you cheering you on or celebrating with you. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
as helpers.
the benefic, it's like having the god of plenty walking on your right side and having the goddess of love and beauty walking on your left side. Like,
Hmm.
that's
That's
pretty.
that's a good team to have.
So it's good for gaining authority of any sort, right? So, uh,
And so you also have a new orbit of the month.
I do. And I'm highlighting and honoring. People don't do honoring to the Mercury retrograde like they should.
Mhm.
Um, Mercury goes retrograde. Big deal. Really. People make it so big of a deal when if you do the work that Mercury retrograde says to do, you're okay. So stop
Right.
blaming Mercury. So Mercury's retrograde most of this month until about the 20th. We do have to remember that here we are, February 1st on Monday, the day before Mercury went retrograde, maybe Saturday, so 2 days ago. So we're in a Mercury retrograde period. I have picked, I am mentally alert.
That's perfect.
So not to put any blame on anything, anybody, the clock, the battery, the fact that you didn't set your alarm, whatever excuse you want to lay on, whatever, because Mercury's retrograde. The idea is you just need to double check. And so this I am mentally alert talisman that is around your neck that you repeat over and over, you can learn through Mercury retrograde period.
Hmm. It's true. And surprisingly enough, I received an email, or either an email or a chat, not too sure, but someone asking if the talismans for orbits are precisely. Do they need to be at that length, or can they have a shorter length necklace, or add it to a bracelet, or tell us a little bit about those orbit talismans?
Good question. Because I made it when I designed it, whatever, 10 years ago, when I designed it, I put it on a O-ring. It's a jewelry term. An O-ring that can come off of that chain, go on to any chain, can get strong on anything. And not only is it like the O-ring, you can with tools or your strong fingers or maybe pliers and another set of pliers if you don't have jewelry um,
And
you know
kinda like the keychain ring that you slide, it's
no,
that.
it's an O-ring. It's not a split ring. Um, you have to open it up. You have to open
Ah,
it up, and it can go on an already a bracelet of any sort. You just have to, kind of twist it so it opens, put it on the thing, and twist it back so it's in alignment. It's pretty sturdy. It won't come off. Yes, yes. The whole idea is, and actually, the other way I designed that chain is if it gets caught sometimes in the collar of your shirt, whatever style shirt you're wearing, you can put that lobster claw in the back where you attach it. You
in
can
any
put
of the chain links.
any of those chain links.
Mhm.
Actually, because you can do that, if you find that the chain thing is too long and it's hanging down your back and you don't like that, just cut it off with a really sharp pair of scissors. It'll
Okay,
go
yeah.
in any of those holes. I made sure of all that. So versatility, yeah, baby.
And yeah, Mercury's happy about that. So let's move on to the horizon. We just finished our February forecast. So perfect timing. It's February 1st today. So you can go ahead in the description. I have all of these links. The first one you're going to find is the February forecast. This is where Sandy and Susan jumped on Facebook Live, where they're sharing all of their favorite dates. If you also want to follow along and take notes on what we call our newest cheat sheet. This is a PDF download that has all of the symbols, the dates, the times, the information, and it has a definition from Sandy and Susan each for each date. So it's a great resource to have. I during the our February forecast, I asked a few I asked the audience if they really enjoyed these cheat sheets, and everyone absolutely said yes. It's so much easier to listen in, to follow along, to get everything right. Because sometimes it is a little bit harder if you're new to astrology and all of these terms. You might be writing down the Taurus symbol as opposed to Capricorn.
Right. Everything is put here. You've designed it really beautifully with an area for notes to follow along and to keep it as the monthly journal. I mean, it's pretty enough that you could really put it in a folder or I would do holes, and this would be my astrological calendar diary for the year.
Yeah. So, of course, both of those links are on there. But if you have any questions, alex at intentionbeads.com. February 10th, we have the CWS webinar, and the schedule is shifting a little bit when it comes to the CWS webinars. Last year, we had it every single month, and this year we're going in for the real hot topics. And when those come up is when we're having a CWS webinar. You can personalize these webinars as well. It's an additional $5, and we send you your astrology chart. And during the webinar, you follow along to, kind of explore and see what's going on within your own astrological chart. So the link is coming soon. So make sure to be either on our mailing list or around Instagram or Facebook for those notifications.
And
Then,
again, it's
sure.
Wednesday, the second Wednesday of February, Wednesday, February 10, from 5:30 to 6:30 at Central Time. The title is the Saturn square Uranus. And we'll be going through the whole year of how these two planets, what Saturn represents, what the square represents, what Uranus represents. You've been here before. There'll be slides, there'll be action steps. Susan and I really, and so does Alex, put a lot of time into this for you.
Mhm.
So,
And we
um,
try to break it down and make it as easy and practical as possible so that you can take this information and apply it straight to your life.
and it's recorded in case you can't make it. And then afterwards, always Susan and I have an opportunity to chat with some of you for a small
For a
amount.
private reading, which is it's great. You can jump in for a 30-minute or an hour, and Sandy and Susan go over your specific chart on what is going on in this Saturn Uranus square for you in particular. Because we all know that we all have, different sun signs, different moon signs, and those all make a difference in applying to these transits. So let's move on and into our favorite thing on the horizon. We are so excited about this. This is the spring equinox constellation bracelet and workshop. I know it is a really long, it's a long description, but trust it is one of the most influential and powerful talismans that we have available because this specific talisman, it's a full bracelet just like our other universal and personal talismans, but each and every single bead, you are consciously participating while these transits are going on. And this is the only talisman that we have that has more than one intention, that you have all of these intentions and affirmations that go along with each and every bead.
It's 12, it's 12 transits. And if I just, will you allow me to read a little?
Of
Um,
course. Of
so
course.
we start on February 12th. We start at 7:17 a.m. And again, these are they appear to be random to you on your calendar and on your schedule. It's not that we're meeting every Tuesday at 7 a.m. It's not happening like that. We have to get the energy when the energy has matched up in the sky for a theme, an intention that we're in the moment to grab it. I'm making the one bead. You're on the Zoom call after I do my talk and teach you about this because it's great for astrology students too. Um, and your booklet, you've got a booklet coming out to you that
Right.
has everything that you need in it, plus how this transit sits on your natal chart. So it's incredibly personalized. But I'm going to just give you a couple. We start on, like I said, February 12th. And the intention, because I've set all the intentions, you're coming up with the affirmations that, go on the card that you get at the end of the 12 times. It's a 6-week period. We start with to be more of my true self. A couple other ones. To engage all power from source. To invite and welcome good news. To simply know. And I'll give you this last one. And we end with, we end at a full moon on March 28th at 1:48 p.m. And that title is to take a lovely yet firm stand.
Yes. I and I'm really excited for this because not a lot of people get to be participating within these transits with the talisman maker themselves. You know what I mean? That is something that we do with the personal intention bracelets, but it's going to be really cool to follow along with you for a month and a half and really pinpointing where these transits are and how they're flowing into one another, where we're creating this understanding of the fluidity of life, that nothing is constant. You can go from one day to the next and feel like you're in a completely different world because of what's going on personally, inside, or the things that pop up out of nowhere. So this is going to be really interesting, and we're excited to bring a few more people on because we keep this so intimate, so private.
Yeah, no more than 8. Um, but maximum is 8. That's the other way to say that, Alex, in case
Oh,
I need
okay, yes.
to. But the reason we call it the spring equinox is because we run this 4 times a year. Now, you've not heard us talk about it for a year because when I looked at last year, there really weren't, well, we've already lived it. We know it was a really tough year on a lot of levels. And
Mhm,
so there really wasn't anything like yummy to bring in as a constellation talisman for last year. But this year, yes. And so and we're going to run 4. And this one just happens to include the spring equinox. The next one will include the summer solstice. The next one will include the fall equinox. And then
mhm.
the last one, the winter solstice. So it always holds a portal, and that is one of the times we get together, is exactly at the spring equinox in this first grouping, because we want to be in that portal area of knowing that we're making an exchange of something from our earthly self to the cosmic above, and we're making some enlightened exchange.
Mhm.
So that's why I love, and we always start at a new moon and we always end at a full moon.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. So we would love for you to join us. The spring equinox again starts February 12th, goes until March 28th. So link is in the description. Of course, if you have any questions, you can email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. So
And
let's
do you have the dates? I mean, if
Yes,
I
those
were
are on those
this,
are in that link.
yeah, I was gonna say, oh my gosh, because this sounds really cool. Let me see the dates. And remember, if the dates, because they're all over the place, but I will say they're not any midnight ones.
And we go by the idea of the universal clock because, sometimes we think like, well, the day starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. That's not the way that the universe works. It's constantly working. This clock is um, constantly ticking away, and new things are coming in and old things are going out. So, um, yeah,
And I
we are
think
going to be going along with this
right.
universal clock.
And I think there's something exciting about that. Even, the ones we've had in the past where we're asking the people to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. They've all found like, oh, that's going to be so hard. I'm kind of dreading it. But the fact is, you get up in this period of time and bringing in this energy without anything else going on,
Mhm.
there's this sense of peace that people have told me that they've stayed up and enjoying sitting on the couch with a blanket over them, just like capturing the moment of waking
Right.
up at this time and making a talisman bead in this precious moment. So there aren't any of the midnight calls. I think the last one we're doing is right around 11
Yeah,
p.m.
I was gonna say like 10 or 11.
Yeah, of course, if you are, on the other side of the world, it could be. You could get a midnight. Get one.
Here's to hoping. So let's move into our house where Sandy and I are really excited to invite a new member to our team. So I'm going to tell you the story. We are, and I first want to announce that we're inviting Crystal onto our team. We're so excited. Um, we're anticipating like so much growth and so much ability to do so many more things and support every one of you along the way. So I wanted to quick mention about how this was a long 4 year to do for me and maybe even longer. I've always wanted a little bit of assistance because as you all know, you listeners, that I I I'm always responding to the emails, the chat boxes, the creating the emails, updating the website, and although some of you will comment or say things like, "Oh, hey, that link is kind of old. You it's not working anymore." I got to make sure that I'm on top of things as much as possible. And I think that this is going to be so incredible to have someone else assisting me with all of this. Um, so I can't
Tell the
wait.
story. Tell
So
the
the story. So of course, this has been like a 4 year to do for me. It's always been on my list. I've always wanted, and I've heard of people talking about, oh well, I have a virtual assistant. I had no idea what that was, and I what I didn't know until just recently is that I am kind of a virtual assistant, not only to Sandy but to all of you. um, where I came across a Facebook group about virtual assistants. I I joined the group, they accepted me, and immediately I was just reading up on a few things. And they said, hey, if you have a job opportunity for the virtual assistants of this group, just post in this order with all of the things that you are looking for, and you'll get emails and resumes and all the above, which I did. And I'm not even kidding you. What this 4 year to do was for me turned into a 20-minute operation. That was it. It was 20 minutes and it was pretty much set in stone. Um, I received so many, wonderful resumes and emails, questions, things like that. But there was one in particular that just stood out.
I thought it was funny because, we get our lunch break sometimes, and this was a day we got lunch break, and I said, "I'll go upstairs and start, warming some things up," and I'm like, "Okay, time to eat," and then I'm, like, waiting, and I'm waiting, and it was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and eat because we always like to do everything together, so geez, and so I started eating, and she goes, "I'll be up in a minute." And I'm working on something. And so you finally come up, you grab your plate, we decide to have couch time, not table time. And we go sit on the couch and you don't even take one bite. And you go, "Oh, hold on." I go, "Yeah, what were you doing?" She goes, "I was filling out a application for
A
an
job listing.
and as I come up here to sit down, oh my gosh, I got my first response.
Hmm.
And then boom, 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 you were laughing this whole time eating because you thought, "Seriously?
It was this easy.
That's what I have been avoiding because I don't know how to do it, I don't know where to go, I don't have time." It was mostly the time. Um, and go on, the first one in, right? You're
The
like,
first one in, the first Crystal liked the post. She commented, "I'm sending you an email right now." Her email was so heartwarming and loving. She said, "Oh my gosh, I love what you and your mom do. I just had my first baby. Um, I'm
Wow.
I want to be a stay-at-home mom as much as I can for my new child." And um, just saying, "Hey, I'm new at all this virtual assistant stuff, but I just wanted to, you know, be considered for the position." And normally, if you don't have an experience in it, it would be not a great thing on your resume. But for me, that is fresh. That's new. That's someone that I want. She's had so much experience with customer service in so many different areas, as well as, kind of more like secretarial work of organizing, filing, going over details. And that is just someone that I've been looking for. And the the website that she put up within a week was absolutely beautiful. It was stunning. The colors, the designs, the photography. I was in awe, and all of the following responses and resumes that I received were just were not up to that standard. And I have pretty high standards
Yeah.
when it comes to my work, and and just understanding a little bit about, her her work, um, that she's so new to this, and she already has a website, and she already has all of these, beautiful, everything was like legible and clear and crisp in the way it was spoken. So, I mean, I was already excited, and I said, okay, well, does today work for an interview or tomorrow? We planned it for tomorrow. We were so excited. We didn't know, but she was completely nervous. But
That you asked her if she had a resume and she said, "Oh my gosh, no, I don't." And what happened overnight? First
she
thing in
sent me a resume. She built it. She constructed it. She designed it and sent me the resume. And that's when, pretty much in my head, I was like, "That's my kind of girl. I like that." And we got on the call with her just to, we were going through her chart with her, and there was just so many synchronicities. It just seemed like she was the perfect virtual assistant for us, and there was like there was no doubt. And as soon as, we kind of heard from her, and I asked her some questions like, well, what kind of world do you want to live in? And how do you find yourself fitting into that? And just her demeanor is just heart opening and warm and sweet, and that's what we do, and that's who we are. So we want, you know I don't need someone who's a know-it-all or has so much experience in these things. I just want someone who's real and genuine and
making me cry.
hardworking.
You're making me cry.
And I had no idea. Who would have known that I put one post out, and then the first person that comes through is like the perfect one. So anyway, we enjoyed our time with her, and she starts today. So congratulations, Crystal. We are so excited to have you on the team. Again, it's it it shows us that when things are ready to happen, they totally do, and sometimes it's the easiest thing.
It's good lesson. Finally, you can let that go. So, Alex, I'm really thrilled for you, um, and everybody, because there'll just
Yeah.
be more content, there'll be more stuff, there'll be more, um,
There'll
there's
be
be
more people on our team. And so it's going to be wonderful. If anyone wants to welcome her in, I can forward the messages. Just email me, alex@intentionmeads.com. Yeah. So warm welcome to Crystal.
it's so funny too because, um, your personal intention bracelet, right?
Hmm.
Because you don't like the Swarovski crystal so much, so that I've always done Bali sterling for you, in
Right.
between the beads. And this last one I made for you just a month ago, you said that you would take, you know what? I'm going to change to crystal this time. And so you've been wearing this crystal bracelet, and I think it's hilarious and so synchronistic that yes, her name is Crystal. and you
right?
just moved into wearing crystal. So if we talk about attraction, right? I believe.
Yes, it's so I'm so excited. We'll be, of course, talking today, showing her the ropes, and you all will be, you know, speaking to her soon. So, I think that's where we're going to wrap this episode. I appreciate you all for listening, and of course, review us on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on all of those places, and I will go ahead and share your responses with all of our listeners. So thank you all again for listening to this episode. We love you. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a good
And the
week.
search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce. And so you finally know you control